our song selection, Do Ya. I've got a home in Beulah land that outshines the sun. Oh, I got a home in Beulah land that outshines the sun. I got a home in Beulah land that outshines the sun. Oh, way beyond the shore. Oh, yeah. Do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, children. Do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, way beyond the shore. I've got a crown in Beulah land that outshines the sun. Oh, I got a crown in Beulah land that outshines the sun. I got a crown in Beulah land that outshines the sun. Oh, way beyond the shore. Oh, yeah. Do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, children. Do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, way beyond the shore. I've got a Savior in Beulah land that outshines the sun. Oh, I got a Savior in Beulah land that outshines the sun. I got a Savior in Beulah land that outshines the sun. Oh, way beyond the shore. Oh, yeah. Do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, children. Do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, way beyond the shore. Oh, yeah. Do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, children. Do ya, oh, do ya. Ya remember me. Oh, way beyond the shore.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. We're going to go over some things today about when righteousness is set in the earth, because man has gotten extremely bold with the rulership that the Euro Gentiles have. Everybody believes that their kingdom is going to last forever. Egypt ruled the whole earth. They believed that their kingdom was going to last forever. Everybody that is in power or that is in a situation think that their situation is going to last forever. And nothing, especially not things that are unrighteous, is going to last forever. The only thing that is going to last forever is the things that Yahweh sets up in his divine will. When you get to certain situations, Yahweh has set up things in his permissive will to allow certain things to come about, because righteousness has to be one of those things that is set up last. And it is interesting, the boasting that you get from the Christians and the Euro Gentiles, that they believe that their kingdom is going to last forever, not paying attention to we are within the 2,500 year rule of the Gentiles. Now, the righteous rule has to be a totally different regime. If you think the people who have ruled for the last 2,500 years and have done it absolutely unrighteously, if you think that those very same people are going to turn around and all of a sudden be righteous after the 2,500 years of unrighteousness, you have not truly understood anything that is in this book or understood people in general. People don't change because they think it's something good to do. People change when they don't have any other option. And if you don't present something to them, then there is not a change that is going to be in that future. So Yahweh allows some things in his permissive will, but his divine will is to set up righteousness on earth. But first, you need to understand what unrighteous rule feels like. You need to understand what unrighteous rule looks like, so that when we get something that is worth having, worth fighting for, that we will understand its value. Sometimes you can take a child and give a child something that is absolutely pristine in value. They have no idea. And the first thing they do is throw it on the ground. because they have no idea of the value of that thing. So you give them a few raggedy things and let it break on them about 4 or 5 times, and they realize, something wrong with this thing here. Then you give them the good one, and now they can recognize, oh, this is of better value. But if you give them that better value thing first, you stand the chance of them not really understanding what that is. Here it is, we were given a garden that everything in it did what we told it to do. We didn't appreciate it. We were given a land, and everything in it operated by our mandate. Everybody that ruled over us was us. Our governors, our officers, our judges, our everything was of us, and not of us just by saying the same people, of us of the same culture and mindset. See, that is bigger than what the people look like. Because there are people that you may be able to kind of be with and have a greater understanding with, and they're not the same people as you are, but they have the same mindset. And that's what a culture does. It creates the same mindset in people so that there is true peace, because as it is written, how can two walk together unless they be agreed? If we have two different cultures, at some point, there's going to be a fork in that road. And we're going to have to make that decision as to which direction we're going to go when we meet that fork. Now, the hand of Yahweh was upon me, and carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say, our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus says Yahweh Elohim, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves, and cause you to come up out of your graves, and bring you into the land of Israel. And you shall know that I am Yahweh, when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and shall put my spirit in you, and you shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall you know that I, Yahweh, have spoken it and performed it, says Yahweh. We're going to begin today's sermon in Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2, and we're going to start that at verse 1. And the title of today's sermon is When the Israelites Rule the World, the Final World Order. And the reason we call this the Final World Order, understand, man has already been setting up his order. And all you have to do is pull out a dollar bill, flip it over, and look at what's there on the back. This Novus Ordo Seclorum is their one world government, which is something that they have always been trying to implement. So when you get right down to the rulership of the Euro Gentiles, they believe that when it comes down to the righteous rulership, that they're going to be able to transition and move into that as well. The problem with that is it's not their time. Everybody has had their time. Egypt ruled the entire earth. Their time is over. Each one of those sons of Noah has to have a representative to rule the earth. Ham has had their opportunity. The Euro Gentiles has had their opportunity. The last one is ours. And everybody wants to stop that from happening. And the Euro Gentile way of trying to keep that from happening is going through all of the time of their rulership. But then when it's time for Israel to rule, they have in these latter days presented someone else as Israel so that they can transition into Israel's rulership as Israel. But you've already had your time to rule. It has to change hands. Yahweh has to be fair to all of his children. And they want to tell you that fair is that they keep ruling. No, it's not fair. If you have 3 kids and you got 1 toy, Everybody got to have their opportunity to play with that toy. That's fair. What's not fair is when somebody pretends to be somebody else and get back in line. And that is what we are in the midst of. And people don't want you to acknowledge it for what it is, but we're going to acknowledge it through this book. So you will have places to go to answer those things when they are presented to you. Because what will come up is the belief of high self-esteem. It's like the trick of the hyena. The hyena looks like, it throws a lion off, because normally your body language says something about whether or not how you're going to attack. And most animals, when they get ready to attack, you can see the pouncing stance. You can see the hair stand up on their neck. You can see, their whole demeanor and their body language. And when an animal is going to bow down to another animal, it puts his head down a little bit and backs up. The hyena don't have that ability. The neck too long. So it always look like it's got high self-esteem. But he's scared as all get out. But he look like he got it together. And it'll throw you off if 4 or 5 of them hyenas walk up on you. You be like, man, they walking tall. They ready to do something. No, he can't bend down. So it looked like he has high self-esteem. It looked like he got it together. He ain't got it together. And if you get your lion roar on, you're going to find him scurry the hell off. But you got to work on your line, your roar there, Simba. And if you ain't got your roar right, them hyenas going to scare the hell out of you. But we're going to get our roar right today. Let's go to Daniel chapter 2, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. And the king commanded to call the magicians, and the astrologers, and the soothsayers, and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell your servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, The thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream, with the interpretation thereof, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. But if you show the dream, and the interpretation thereof, you shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream, and the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, Let the king tell his servants the dream, and we shall show the interpretation of it.
Sometimes you have to also look at how Yahweh moves a situation. Yahweh is moving this situation so that only one person can deal with it. Yahweh has even moved the mind state of the king that he won't tell them the dream. He said, because I know y'all gonna lie to me. So tell me the dream and the interpretation. He ain't never done that before. What make him do it this time? Yahweh is pushing him so the others won't get to lie to him. He gonna have to go to his servant. See, Yahweh make a way out of no way. And Yahweh will push something to your door. You ain't got to run around and go looking for stuff. Go ahead.
The king answered and said, I know of a certainty that you would gain the time, because you see the thing is gone from me. But if you will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you, for you have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me, till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can show me the interpretation thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, There is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore this is no king, master. Therefore there is no king, master, nor ruler that acts such things at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can show it before the king, except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh.
So he is making the situation so that this man, this servant, who is not a rich man. He is not someone of pomp and circumstance. He does not have prosperity. He is in their land as a captive. Yahweh is creating the situation, so he is about to stand out over everybody else who's supposed to know it all. These Chaldeans, these were the wisest people. Okay? So these were supposed to be the people that knew everything. These are all of the people with the multiple degrees here. The astrologers, the magicians, the Chaldeans, but they're going to have to deal with a servant. Go ahead.
For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain.
Now, he was a part of those that were going to be slain because he was put in the court of the wise men. But you know they didn't go to him. He wasn't of high enough status for the dream to even be brought to him. But he was one of those that they picked. They said, all right, well, we're going to pick certain ones and we'll teach of the captives so that they, know how to stand before the king. But he ain't high enough to be called for this. Something has to happen for him to get put in this situation. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions.
Right. Now, we're going to have to deal with some things, of course, about these names because we ended up receiving some communication that was rather interesting, and part of it was regarding names. Go ahead.
That they would desire mercies of the Elohim of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon.
Daniel chapter 2, and we're going to start, we're at verse 19.
Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the Elohim of heaven. Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of Elohim forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changed the times and the season. He removes kings and sets up kings.
Mm-hmm.
He gives wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding.
Right. In other words, Yahweh is orchestrating things for his purpose. Okay? He is pushing things for what he needs to happen. So when we look at the things of these presidents that are in charge, we go and stand in line and do our voting and we do all of those things. And Yahweh has already said who is going to go in office and what little evil job they got to do. Obama had his job. Trump got his. And people can stand in line all they want and cast as many votes. Your votes ain't but 2/3 of a vote anyway. See, ain't nobody told you about that. See, if you heard them votes count, you would be upset. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2. Wait a minute. What's wrong with these numbers? Right. Go ahead.
Daniel chapter 2 and verse 22. He reveals the deep and secret things. He knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank you and praise you, you Elohim of my fathers, who has given me wisdom and might, and has made known unto me now what we desired of you. For you have now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, destroy not the wise men of Babylon, bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Yehudah, that will make known unto the king the interpretation.
You see how everybody want a little glory? I have found it. How you found it? I have found a man who shall reveal to you all your hearts. You ain't found nobody. Go ahead.
The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar.
Right. Now, Daniel, but his name is Belteshazzar. See, we ended up getting the email where the imposters glorify themselves by their names and say, oh, we have Hebrew names. And actually, if you go back far enough, you can find out where they changed those names too. And let me tell you something. Stein ain't no Hebrew name. All these Jewish talking about their name Steen, Stein, that's German and Russian. Y'all, that's not Hebrew. But if to answer that when you get approached, understand, this is what Isaiah 44 was talking about, that one will have to surname himself by Jacob and by the names of Israel, because we were going to lose our names as we were spread across the globe. So if you go to South America, those people name Hector and Elizondo, but they look just like you. Their names is just about where they ended up at. We were forced to change our names in whatever land that we landed in. So when those people try to boast against you about that, asking you what is your American name, and that they boast of this so-called Jewish name, tell them, here's the thing. Your name actually verifies that you were spread over the world as captives. Because if you have always had a Hebrew name, tell me about where your diaspora is then. See, the same thing that they use to try and go against you, if you know how to listen, you take that same thing and turn it back. If you've always had a Hebrew name, where's your captivity then? Then you're going to hear, no. Ain't no, come on, let's talk. Where is your captivity then if you've always had a Hebrew name? But if you don't know to do that, now they got you running all over the book. You don't need to go in the book to answer that. That's not a question that needs to be answered with the book. You can answer that from your common sense. Go ahead.
Are you able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen and the interpretation thereof? Verse 27. Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king has demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king.
Now you're going to get him a little shine for Yahweh at the same time. Now he could have just told the man, see? But now he got to set it up, you know? He got to, go ahead and make this presentation real grand. So he going to talk a little smack. I thought you had some wise men. I thought they had degrees. What the hell? I don't see nobody. What is it? Yeah, go ahead.
But there is a Elohim in heaven that reveals secrets, and make known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Your dream and the visions of your head upon your bed are these.
Right. So the whole purpose of getting this, now this dream is how Yahweh is talking to this man. And he has to bring in a servant of Yahweh to verify the dream. Yahweh is doing this for a reason. So even when you hear all of these people that said, I talked to God last night. Wait a minute. These people had dreams and Yahweh gave them complete and utter instructions in their dreams. Yeah, other people, they just talk to God just walking through the mall. He just talked to them while they driving in the car. Elijah, yes, Father. Go ahead, man.
Verse 29. As for you, O king, your thoughts came into your mind upon your bed. What should come to pass hereafter? And he that reveals secrets makes known to you what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king. and that you might have known the thoughts of your heart.
Right. So the glory that Daniel is trying to get is for Yahweh, not for himself. Go ahead.
You, O king, saw it, and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before you, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. You saw it till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces.
So this stone that was cut out without hands is going to smite the image. It's going to smite the image and completely knock the image down. This image is Gentile rulership. There's certain things that I need for you to pay attention to. Okay, this entire image from the head to the feet is the time of rulership that the Gentiles were given on this earth. This stone that is cut out without hands is going to smite the image and crush it. The way the Euro Gentiles want to play this game is they want to rule the entire time of the image and then switch over from being a Gentile to being a Jew and then rule when the stone that is cut out without hands smashes the Gentile rule. In other words, they're trying to get back in line. Y'all know, you know what I'm saying, when we was in school lunch and you tried to get back in that line, especially when they had like ice cream sandwiches. I mean, that stuff was delicious. You had to get back in that line. So you tried to, disfigure your face, but that cafeteria lady know everything. Boy, go on, get back out the line. I already saw you. You just changed your shirt and the hat. Get on out here. Man, lady know everything. Go ahead.
Verse 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and defiled the whole earth.
And filled the whole earth.
And filled the whole earth, pardon me.
Go ahead.
This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. You, O king, are a king of kings, for the Elohim of heaven has given you a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven has he given into your hand, and has made you ruler over them all. You are this head of gold.
You are the head of gold. You are the beginning of this Babylonian rulership. And what ends up happening, the Euro Gentiles just fought one another for control of the same empire. Okay? And if you don't understand these basic things, then they're going to twist your understanding and make you believe that they are the righteous rulership that shall come. Can't be both. Matter of fact, a little key here. The true Jews cannot be in power while the Gentiles are still ruling. Pay attention. So, because people will say, I can't believe you would question the people that's in a land. They are Jews and they are God's chosen people. You shall not question them. Now, my book questions them. Because my book said they ain't supposed to rule until the Gentile rule is over. So how are they in there and Gentile rule is still going on? So either Daniel's a lie or you a lie. Read, man.
And after you shall arise another kingdom inferior to you, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
Right. So the Euro-Gentile rule keep getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. So Yahweh is bringing it down gradually, and so that when he does hit it with that rock, it's going to crumble. Go ahead.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaks in pieces and subdued all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas you saw at the feet and toes part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, For as much as you sought the iron mixed with miry clay.
Right. So with so much power, they can never join together again because everybody wants their own thing. Look at the Gentile rulership here in America. With all of the rulership, you go in Washington, D.C., it's primarily Gentiles wielding the power. Yet they fight against one another as Republicans and Democrats. So they are apart. They can never really join their hand together to get the strength that they're supposed to because they're constantly going against one another. This is a part of Yahweh's design. 5 fingers apart can't do nothing but slap nobody. That's all you can do. That ain't no real fight. A real fight, you got to put all 5 of them fingers together and pull that thumb down so you can thrust this in somebody's face or gut. Now that's a fight. You ain't never seen 2 men fight. Psh, 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 psh. That ain't no man fight. That ain't no man fight right there. I done seen sisters fight better than that. I ain't seen sisters that just fight. Psh, get out of me. Ah! No. Those fingers got to come together. But they have been apart and they are all about their own way so much that they can't join together. And not being able to join together has weakened them. And Yahweh is making it so he can knock the whole thing down. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
Uh-huh.
And whereas you saw iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men.
Uh-huh.
But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Right. So you have all of this mingling of people here in the daughter of Babylon, yet people are still prejudiced one group against the other. As much so-called race mixing as there are, that's going on here. Watch and see how they are separated into all these different groups, even though they have all this mixing. So they'll mix, but they're not really mixed. Go ahead.
And in the days of these kings shall the Elohim of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed.
Uh-huh.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
It shall not be left to other people. Go ahead.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
So this kingdom that he's talking about is going to destroy the Gentile kingdom. They want you to believe that they are still going to be in rule. So this is the part of the trick. The same country, Britain and America, went and set up these people in the land as the Jews. When you back up in time, the same part of that Babylonian kingdom were the ones who invaded the land and kicked us out of it. So now they go and get some of their cousins and put them in the land and say, all right, we're going to tell everybody you the Jews. That way we get to rule again through you. Awesome trick. Ain't gonna work though. See, Yahweh, people stay up all night trying to figure out schemes. But Yahweh don't sleep. He's sitting there looking, look at him out there creeping in those bushes. That's so cute. Somebody gonna kill them. Read, bro.
For as much as you saw it that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great Elohim has made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face, and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him.
Right. So now he has shown this man here is completely different from everybody else. No matter how much study that everybody else has done, this thing here is not something you can study to figure out. That's what I keep trying to tell people. Understand the difference between what things need to be answered with study and what things need to be answered from within inside of you. You don't need a book to answer everything. But folks will like to get you running all over the Bible and they ain't doing nothing. That's how you win a tennis match. You just make them run all over the court. And they, and you, I sit there and I watch out like, God, he gonna run himself to death. He gonna lose. That's how I figure out who gonna win or not. I just watch whoever running the most, they in trouble. They in trouble because he running way too much. And see, that's what the evil folk want to come up and do. Present stuff to you and make you run all over the Bible. And you like a little Jack Russell. Man, you don't never see no pit bull doing that. Jack Russell run like that. The big dog don't do that. Big dog don't run all over. Big dog just focus on one thing. As soon as he get right there, I'm going to bite him. He ain't running around, jumping in the windowsill. Big dogs don't do that. Big dogs don't do that. You get past that sofa line and I'm biting. Go ahead, bro.
The king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is, that your Elohim is a Elohim of gods, and a master, or Adonai of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing you could reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Right, the same ones that was Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. But they got their heathen names that they have to be called in this kingdom. So when people try to boast against you about their so-called Hebrew name, it only proves that they ain't never been in captivity. That's all it proves. That is actually a plus for you, not a minus against you. But you got to know how to look at it. Go ahead.
Over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king.
All right. Now let's go to Daniel chapter 7. So just by default, the true Jews cannot be in the land. Daniel is known as one of the greatest prophets. Everything is set upon these things of Daniel. If Daniel lying, we might well throw the whole book away. According to Daniel, they're not supposed to be in there yet. The stone ain't showed up. How y'all in there? If you stand on that, somebody else can talk for 2 hours. They can say whatever they want. They can show up with all kind of pomp and circumstance. They can speak Hebrew. They can speak 4, 5 other different languages. And you ain't got no but one. Bull. That's all you got to say? That sounds real good, but that ain't nothing but bull. Done deal. Go ahead, bro. We gonna get that. Man, get out of my class, bro. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Hey, man, bye. Bye. Hey, man, go sit out front, man. Go sit out front. I just, man. Daniel 7, let's start that at verse 15. But you're right, my brother. Where is the peace? See?
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 15. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came thereon to one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Okay, now, another point. The saints of the Most High is going to take the kingdom. Question, who are they taking the kingdom from? Y'all about to get into something right here. Check this out. What they took the land from was who? Palestinians. Mm-hmm. Who the true saints of Israel is going to take it from is the Gentile. Ooh, we about to get into it now, baby. Read one. Let's do this thing. Come on.
Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast.
Right. Just understand now. You already got you got 2 heavy weapons in your arsenal already. The true Jews not gonna take the land from some people wielding sticks and stones, man. We taking it from Gentiles. Who got it? Gentiles. Read.
Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows.
Now, don't get this out of context. There are definitely going to be Gentiles all over the earth and that are a part of this righteous rulership. It is just the rulership that is happening over the earth is going to be done by Israel. Just like we're still all over the earth, even though it's Gentile rulership. But there are some people that don't want to play if they ain't winning. If they ain't the ones in control, they don't even want to deal with the game. What that in? Is that what you want to do? Because my turn coming. And you're not going to steal my chance. I've been waiting on this joystick. I'm playing this game. You can believe that. Go ahead, bro.
I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them.
The same horn made war with the saints. See? So we understand who's warring and who they're warring against. The Gentiles ain't fighting those Jews. The Gentiles are the one who put them Jews in power. What are they fighting them at? Go ahead.
Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
The time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. So understand, you have this image, and then you break it down into these beasts, and then you understand still that this is a part of this Babylonian rulership. So you see what has to happen. It is Israel that will have to fight against the Gentile rulership to take the kingdom. We will not be fighting other Shemites to take the kingdom. We will be fighting Gentiles. And there will be Gentiles fighting Gentiles as well, because they want righteous rulership on earth. They want peace on earth. They don't care who ruling, as long as it's in peace. Go ahead.
You know, brother, it says, and the saints will possess the kingdom. Who could look over there and say that there's saints in that kingdom?
Well, here's the thing. Most of the stuff that actually happens over there, we don't even get to see it. So if you have that thought process about the stuff that you do see, imagine the stuff that they will not allow to even make it to their news. You got to look at Al Jazeera or Haaretz or something like that to even see what's going on in Israel. Israel controls the media here. So they will not allow anything that makes them look bad. It won't even make it to television. Just in the hypocrisy of how Netanyahu operates. He wouldn't let Ilhan Omar and Tlaib, I think is her name, wouldn't let them even come in the country. Said they were against Israel because they felt, too much about the Palestinian people. So he wouldn't even let them in the country. Now, in 2012, I think it was, Netanyahu came to Congress unannounced and came and spoke to the whole Congress, trying to go around Obama. Matter of fact, he had been invited here by the Republicans before the president even knew he was coming. Obama didn't know he was coming until the last minute. He already got all his speech ready and everything. It was done so twisted, a lot of the Democrats were saying they wasn't even going to come to Netanyahu's speech. So while he says he's not going to let anybody come into his country that will speak against his country, he, on the other hand, came here and tried to turn the rest of the Congress against Obama. Hypocrisy. The very thing that he did, he wouldn't even let them off the plane so that they wouldn't even get an opportunity to do it. But if you don't follow certain events, you don't know how big this hypocrisy is. I mean, you got, the name says hypocrisy. Whenever somebody says they can't even say, the name of Yah is too holy. Well, how the hell your name is Netanyahu? How is Yah's name in your name, but we can't say his name? Right. Read, bro.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
Right. And when you deal with this thing between Europe, you have Rome, which is the ecclesiastical part of Babylon, and then America, which is that hammer of the whole earth. Between those two, they go about and have conquered the whole earth. It may look like they are separate. They hand in hand. Even to this day, with all of the things that the Catholic priests have done here in America, not one of them have gone to jail. And America ain't tried to prosecute not one of them child molesters. They go hand in hand. They together. Go ahead.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. And another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
Right. So this happens when in Gentile rulership. That one thing you're going to know by the time we are done here today. You're going to understand in whose rule what things are being done. Because this is going to eliminate the opportunity for somebody to come up and tell you some mess. This is during Gentile rulership that the true children of Israel are being persecuted. Ain't no Gentiles persecuting anybody in Israel. Matter of fact, they claim that all their enemies are the people of the Middle East who are not Gentiles. Think. Go ahead.
And think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High.
So the children of Israel won't just rule Israel. Okay? Another little point. Need you got put that down there. Okay? The whole heaven shall be given to Israel. That's why the title is When the Israelites Ruled the World. I did make a typo when I made that title. Okay, that's not a typo. We are focusing on getting back to the land of Israel. But that ain't all we gonna rule, boo-boo. What they ruling the world at? I mean, they in everybody's business. But they ain't ruling. Not the world. Go ahead.
Whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much trouble me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart.
All right, now let's go to chapter 8, Daniel chapter 8, and we're going to read verses 13 through 27.
Verse 13. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot? And he said unto me, Unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
Right, a day for a year. We're then dealing with 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Who trodden it under the foot? You're a Gentile. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning, then, behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. And I heard a man's voice between the bank of Uli, which called and said, Gabriel, Make this man to understand the vision. So he came near where I stood. And when he came, I was afraid and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, Understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. Now as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground. But he touched me and set me upright. And he said, Behold, I'll make you know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed, the end shall be. The ram which you saw, having 2 horns, are the kings of Media and Persia.
Right. Russia and Iran. Go ahead.
And the rough goat is the king of Grecia.
So now we have all of these situations. We know where these kingdoms are, and they have basically fought for control of this Babylonian kingdom. Go ahead.
And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. And in the latter time their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
So once again, we see in whose rulership all of this is being done. Go ahead.
And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
And by peace shall destroy many. That's that double talk. We come to liberate the earth. You ever seen one of them folk, used to have them a lot when we was in school, where folk jump in the fight and they said, y'all break it up. Pow! And you know what I'm saying? But he hidden, you know, one of the people at the same time that he's so-called supposed to be breaking up the fight. He supposed to be the peacemaker, but he done got more hits in than the folk in the fight. Right. That's how they play. Yeah, America dropped bombs and biscuits at the same time. Here you go, feed your people. Oh my goodness, that bomb fell right behind those biscuits. Y'all know what y'all were doing. Go ahead.
He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And the vision of the evening and the morning, which was told, is true. Wherefore shut you up the vision, for it shall be for many days. And I, Daniel, fainted, and was sick certain days. Afterward I rose up, and did the king's business, and I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it.
But none understood it. Some of the things Yahweh is saving us from, because knowing that your people are going to go through complete and utter hell for 2,500 plus years is probably one of the heaviest things that anyone could ever tell you. So when we look at these things of Daniel, do you understand the weight that Yahweh placed on him? Then you understand why it says, hey, at the beginning of your prayer, your supplication was answered. So I was sent when you started praying. Just I had to go and fight with these demons that was trying to keep me from getting to you. But Yahweh understands the kind of weight that he's put on this man. This is a heavy weight. We don't want to hit it. We got 25 days of trouble. We faint at 25. They go, look, you're going to have a problem all February. Ah! We gone. That's the shortest month. What? You tell this man, all your people going to have a problem for 2,500 years? Do you understand what kind of weight that's got to be on you? To the point where he don't even ask about all the kingdoms. Just tell me about the fourth one. He don't need me. They don't need me know about the other one because we still gonna be captain. You know what I'm saying? And what I need to know about them for? You want to hear about number 1, 2, or 3? For what? Tell me about number 4. That's the one when we gonna be free. Yeah. Let's talk about that one. And they're not discussing other ones. But this proves who you are. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I don't care how well they speak, how educated they sound when they lie, and how big their smile is when they lie. It's still a lie. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24, and we're going to read verses 15 through 31.
Verse 15. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet.
So, Yeshua then verifies the prophet Daniel, who has already told us that it is the Euro-Gentiles who will be in power when Yeshua comes and knock their power down. It will also be the Euro-Gentiles who have been the ones who have oppressed the children of Israel. They wouldn't put us in the land. They are oppressing us to keep us out of the land. And now here go Yeshua verifying the same prophet. Know how to connect your dots. Go ahead.
Stand in the holy place. Whoso reads, let him understand.
And who you think gonna let this abomination of desolation, the Pope, who you think gonna let him in there? How y'all think he gonna get there? Through their cousins. The people that they put up in there as the Jews. That's who gonna let him in. Y'all see pictures of Netanyahu and Trump all hugged up? They got their little bromance. You ain't see them hugged up? Right. Go ahead.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray you that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here's the Mashiach, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Right, so they're going to have the power of the adversary, the devil, and they're going to be able to work miracles. And think, even the fake miracles are already wooing our people. When they be on TV and Benny Hinn go up there and everybody, you know what I'm saying, they limping, all of a sudden they get to walking. Whoa, whoa, now I can run. I couldn't walk before, but look at me. Now I can do the stinging leg. Look. Right. We give all that money. Watching these fake miracles. So what's going to happen when the adversary give them the power to do a real one? If that stuff right there get us, oh, we in trouble. And that stuff is getting our people like 40 going north. We giving all the money. Let me get some of that miracle spring water. I need that special prayer cloth. By the end of it, we broke. We done bought everything because of these fake miracles. Go ahead.
Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he's in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning comes out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together.
Right, so they can eat the dead bodies. Go ahead.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet.
Right. And we had a dude send us a thing about his little shofar stuff. Of course, he is partial to the Jewish, so he loved that kadu. You have to wonder, when Yahweh get ready to call, and it's a sound of a trumpet, is he gonna blow the kadu or the ram horn? Go ahead, bro.
And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
All right, let's go to Leviticus chapter 26. Excuse me, brother. Take that drink out of here, brother. Don't want no drink in here. We're trying to keep stains off our carpet. You can finish it and then come back in. Leviticus 26. And we're going to read verses 14 through 46.
Verse 14. But if you will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments.
Now, this is dealing with the punishment that will be given unto the children of Israel. What when you start going through the things of Deuteronomy 28, and when the Gentiles get a hold of it, they try to come and combat those things. And the ones they try to go at, of course, is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. And they said, so they try to argue with the whole part of whether or not this is spiritual Egypt and whatnot. But there are many other verses in Deuteronomy 28 that have only happened to us as a people. It talks about a man shall betroth a wife and another man shall lie with her. That has absolutely never happened to the so-called Jewish people. It says you will build a house and won't live in the house. That has absolutely never have happened to the Jewish people. You will plant vineyards and can't even eat from it. We had to steal the very food that we was farming during slavery. They thought we were just happy slaves because we were singing. We were passing messages to one another in song. They were right up in front of him singing and giving him instruction as to, all right, put that watermelon down. Here come master. Oh, nobody knows. They all put the watermelon down. They were talking to one another. People think, they were just happy slaves. No, they were talking. They said, look, man, we sitting here farming all this food and we can't eat none of it. We finna get this food. So there's when you let somebody pinpoint one thing out of Deuteronomy 28, no. Don't just try to combat that one verse. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and let's go through this whole thing. Show me. Knock out. It says the true Jews shall have a yoke of iron around their neck. Show me your yoke of iron. I can show you where mine was. Show me yours. Don't let them pick out verse 68. Now, I'm going to need you to get from 15 on up to 68. We ain't got to 68 yet. Start at 15 and let's work our way down. They can't do it. Go ahead.
And if you shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that you will not do all my commandments, but that you break my covenant.
So, walking in the commandments is keeping the covenant. Okay, let me say that again. Walking in the commandments is keeping the covenant. So when you hear on Sunday morning that people telling you that you don't have to do any of these things, understand who first set up their charter, who gave them the right to so-called set up their church. So understand who they are really working for. It is then in their best interest that you walk against the covenant, because then you take away your own power. The last thing you want to do is listen to your enemy give you instructions on how to stay strong. You gotta just really put this stupid face. Are you serious right now? You got a planned bout and you gonna listen to your enemy tell you how to train. Yeah, man, how you train, just get a You grab a powdered donut in your left hand and just put it in your mouth. That's all you need to do to train. You're going to die when that fight comes. You're going to die. He's training you for failure. He's not training you for success. He needs you to walk away from all the covenants. So when that fight happens, you have zero power. You calling on Yahweh and he's like, who is that? Yahweh, you don't know them? No, know them. I mean, they look familiar, but I don't know them. Why? Because you done walked all the way outside the covenant. He ain't got no reason to listen to you. And your enemy know that. Go ahead.
I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague, that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And you shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and you shall flee when none pursues you. And if you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I'll punish you 7 times more for your sins.
Thank you for that, bro. Good.
And I'll break the pride of your power, and I'll make your heaven as iron and your earth as brass.
Right. So then we were given punishment 7 times more than anybody else. And here it is, we get mad when we get punished. We get mad because we can't keep doing evil. We don't understand why. And here it is, that's the blessing of Yahweh. We think that everybody who got money is blessed. And here it is, you about to do something evil and Yahweh keeps stopping you. And you like, why are you stopping me from getting this money? Because that's evil the way you finna get it. We don't even recognize a blessing when we see it. Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 20. And your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield her increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits. And if you walk contrary unto me.
And if you listen, it says first chastisement in the little heading, second chastisement, third chastisement. These are things that are given in measure as you go along. Oh, okay, so you still won't listen. Okay, well, let me do this to you. Oh, okay, so you still won't listen. I mean, if your kids act a fool and you tell them they can't go outside, that don't work. You go to something else. See, that won't even work with these kids. These kids don't go outside anyway. You tell these kids you cannot go outside. They were like, well, thank you, Dad. I appreciate that. They ain't going outside. They ain't going nowhere. You see, then you got to get down to where it counts. No more phone. I got him now. Yeah, baby. I got him now. They don't care nothing about going outside. My kids don't go outside till I go outside. I go outside, here they come, and then they act like it's new, too. They tell each other, hey, look, that's a tree. Read, man.
And if you walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins. I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate.
Now, consider this. I will send you wild beasts, and in the same verse, he says your highways. Them wild beasts got badges on. They call them the police. That's who robbing us of our children. So Yahweh got jokes. Go ahead.
And if you will not be reformed by me by these things, but will walk contrary unto me, then will I also walk contrary unto you, and will punish you yet 7 times for your sins.
Right. So the adversary knows, look, instead of making these people do this in an adversarial way, set up a church, make them think that it is the truth that they're hearing, teach them to walk against the covenant, and then I can make 7 times punishment, 7 times plagues. I can make all of these things happen unto my enemies, and I can war with them while smiling. You don't even know they're waging war against you. Because they smiling, talking about, God is love. But don't go on the Sabbath day. God is love. But don't keep those holy days. Right. They're warring with you with a smile. So you recognize war when they got an M16 in their hand. You can't recognize a war when somebody's smiling at you? Go ahead, bro.
And I'll bring a sword upon you that shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when you are gathered together within your cities, I will send the pestilence among you, and you shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight, and you shall eat and not be satisfied.
Yeah, we used to have to stand in those lines to get that welfare thing. You get certain little thing to get your little cheese. Yeah, you got a certain little amount you was to get. Go ahead.
And if you will not for all this hearken unto me, but walk contrary unto me, then I will walk contrary unto you also in fury, and I, even I, will chastise you 7 times for your sins. And you shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters shall you eat. And I'll destroy your high places, and cut down your images, and cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idols, and my soul shall abhor you. And I'll make your cities waste, and bring your sanctuaries onto desolation, and I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors.
Right. I will destroy your high places, and I destroy your sanctuaries. Yeshua said in the New Testament, there shall not be one stone left here standing on another one. Yet you got people paying all this money going to visit Israel so that they can so-called see a part of the temple. And they're collecting money. They got a whole little travel plan set out for people. So they'll, you get off the bus, they take you here, they take you there, they take you here, and that trip costs a couple $1,000s. Partner of mine told me one of his friends went on it. He said, man, when I got out, I just saw God. Boy, they got it set up, but you better not get off that tour plan. You get off that tour plan and they don't know you're a tourist, you're going to get beat down like everybody else in there. So what happened? Oh, you done got off the tour thing, ain't you? No, you get back on that circle over there, we can treat you nice. But you get off that circle, it's going down. Yeah, we thought you was one of them Ethiopians or something. Our bad. Right. Go ahead, bro.
And I'll bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it.
I'm sorry, bro. I need you to read that again.
And I'll bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein.
Okay, stop. So your enemies going to do a part of the punishment is enemies are going to dwell in your land. Oh. See, somebody told me, they said, why would God, who has given this land to Israel, allow anybody else to get it? The fact that they got it means that God gave it to them. What book you read? You can't be reading this book. This is the beginning of what he said. I'm going to take the land from you and give it to somebody else. How you going to be a teacher and don't know that? I done told y'all stop listening to everybody who talk. A lie don't care who tell it. A lie go home with any one of y'all. Go ahead.
And I'll scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you.
I'm sorry. And I will scatter you among the heathen. This is Yahweh's doing. So whenever somebody tell you that they have Hebrew names, they've been keeping the culture, they know the language, how is that possible if you've been spread out among the heathen? Right. You're an imposter. Go ahead.
And your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Then shall the land enjoy her Sabbaths, as long as it lieth desolate, and you be in your enemy's land. Even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Sabbaths.
I'm sorry. Israel is going to be in their enemy's land, not in theirs. Go ahead.
As long as it lies desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Sabbaths when you dwelt upon it.
Right. So then understand that this is part of Yahweh's thing. So you understand the push of why we are being taught against the Sabbath and have been for so long. Yahweh said, I'm going to make this land enjoy the Sabbath when I throw you out of it. So then your enemy needs to make sure that you love Sunday. And he made sure you got it real good in your heart, because Big Mama cook on Sunday. Now you just want to go, I'm going to go Sunday, I'm going to get some big mama baskets. Oh, I can't wait. Right. He want to make sure you got it real good and warm in there. Right. So you going to love Sunday and then do all your running around on Yahweh's holy Sabbath. He's warring against you and you don't even know it. You looking at everybody who got a knife and a gun. And the people who warring against you the most done showed up with the biggest smile you've ever seen in your life. Talking so warm. And they warring with you. Go ahead.
Verse 36. And upon them that are left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts in the lands of their enemies. And the sound of a shaken leaf shall chase them, and they shall flee, as fleeing from a sword, and they shall fall when none pursues. And they shall fall one upon another, as it were before a sword, when none pursues, and you shall have no power to stand before your enemies. And you shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And they that are left of you shall pine away in their lawlessness in your enemies' lands, and also in the lawlessness of their fathers shall they pine away with them.
A person ended up sending an email saying, just because somebody was a slave doesn't mean that they're Israelites. I said, that is correct. But you can't be an Israelite if you ain't been a slave. You got to know how to do this thing. Right. I'm showing y'all how to fight. Go ahead, man.
They shall confess their lawlessness and the lawlessness of their fathers with their trespass which they have trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their lawlessness, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Esau, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I'll remember the land. The land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept of the punishment of their lawlessness, even because they despised my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them, to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them. For I am Yahweh, their Elohim. But I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their Elohim. I am Yahweh. These are the statutes and the judgments and laws, which Yahweh made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai, by the hand of Moshe.
All right. So then we see how important then this covenant is when we're dealing between the children of Israel and Yahweh. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 11. You know, I understand why, sometimes people will be like apprehensive to approach some of the Jewish, or even when they approach you, back in the days, my elder used to say some stuff, and I wasn't there yet. He said, go up and talk to the Jewish people. They don't know nothing. I was like, nah, man, them people speak Hebrew. They do all of these things. Son, go talk to them. They don't know nothing. I was like, nah. Took me a couple of years, and I realized, he's right. They don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. Their Talmud got them so twisted. They cannot prove themselves in this book. That's why they had to go get another one. And they need to try to get you to deal with their book so that they can justify themselves out of their own book. Give me my own book and I can justify myself in your house. Hell, if I wrote the book, I'll write myself in your living room. What? If you let somebody do that, come on. No. Let's deal with the same book. Show me you in the Torah. They cannot do it. And you are allowing them the opportunity to change the playing field by starting to talk to you about Jewish law. Jewish law is not the same as the Torah. Understand and learn how to hear a lie when you hear it. Jewish law has nothing to do with the Torah. But if you don't know that, People will start talking to you about Jewish law says this. Where that's at? Now I'm gonna need you to count that, hey, man. Either crank the car or do something, because you can't cut that out. I ask you a simple question. Show me where that's at. No, something wrong here. Because it didn't come out of this book. They made their own book and put their own thoughts in it. But you got to know that's where that's coming from. Isaiah chapter 11, and let's read verses 1 through 16.
And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the spirit of Yah shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Yah.
Right. So the 7 spirits are going to come on this rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. This is Yahshua. You have this rod out of the stem of Jesse. Jesse is David's father. So this is why every king of Israel was called the son of David. Go ahead.
And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yah. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked.
With the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. It's the word that's going to slay the wicked. See, the book talks about you can tell what's in the heart of somebody by what comes out of their mouth. That's why certain situations you can hear people talking and he said, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get this road on the show, because I can already hear you. What's coming out of your mouth is a different thing. So let's go ahead and get this baby popping. See? Let's make this thing pop. Because I can already see by the words that's coming out of your mouth, you want to do a certain thing. Ain't no need us waiting. Let's go ahead and do it now. So when you hear certain words, you already know that those people are on something else. Why are you waiting until it turns upside down? Go ahead and lead today. Ain't no need of letting it wind up and you lead next month. Lead today. Yahweh got somebody standing outside that want to sit in that seat. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them.
Right. Peace. Go ahead.
And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together. And the lion shall eat straw like the ox, and the sucking child shall play on the hole of the ass, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yah, as the waters cover the sea.
Right. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain. Go into Israel and see what happened to you. Ain't no peace there. Where's the peace that's supposed to be there when the true children of Israel get there? Where's that? They've been there since 48. Ain't been no peace since 46. Go ahead.
And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious.
Right. The Gentiles are going to seek it in righteousness, not the way that people are pretending to seek things now. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Adonai shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
Okay, wait a minute. So now he's going to set his hand the second time to recover his people like he recovered the people out of Egypt. So if these people are already in the land, how is Yahweh going to recover these people from all of these different places? Because Israel is already set and they're not letting certain people in. It's talking about people from Egypt and from Cush. Wait a minute, Cush is Ethiopian. They're sterilizing any Ethiopians that they even let come into the land. Because they're trying to maintain white supremacy. And to maintain white supremacy, you need to make sure that there is always more of you than it is of the other people. That's what this whole so-called immigration thing is with Trump. This ain't nothing but they have already said that in a couple of years, the Gentiles, the regular white people here will not be the majority. And their problem is the people that they brought in to replace us. They brought those Mexicans to replace us, and the Mexicans been multiplying. But they don't need but $2.50. They have a child. It don't mean nothing to them. And they throw all 28 of them in the back of the station wagon and drive. They don't need no car seats. They don't need none of that. And they've been able to sustain off little or nothing. But see, they wasn't watching them. They're watching us. Everything we do, they watching us. Meanwhile, these people they brought in here kept multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. Now, those people about to overtake them. Now it's a war against the Hispanics. Now you see all these shootouts and all of these things. Now they got something to do with the Mexicans, not us. Check that out. Check that out. Right. This their own doing. This is a problem that they made. Trying to make sure we didn't get back at them, and we ain't starting nobody. We ain't trying to get back at nobody. They thought we were going to go to war when that white boy went in there and shot up all them people at the church. They swore we were going to retaliate. They was trying to make this race war. Look how fast this thing done jumped off with the Hispanics, though. These little open shootouts, and it just so happened to be around areas where the Hispanics are. Then you find a Hispanic doing something. This is what they were trying to jump off with us. But Yahweh says vengeance belongs to him. Because you just can't go and look at somebody and say, oh, they look alike, so I'm going to get one of these people. What if that's a righteous person? What if that's a person seeking after righteousness? Yahweh going to get you. You're going to pay for that. Let Yahweh do his job. He know where the good and where the evil is. And they can be standing right by each other. Yahweh will make lightning come out the sky and hit the person next to you and burn them to a crisp. And you be just as cool. They on fire and you feel like a York peppermint patty. I feel minty. My God, I feel so minty cool. Right. That fire ain't touch you. But it burnt up the dude standing right next to you. Let Yahweh do his job. Stop trying to do his job. Go ahead, man.
You know, brother, it also goes to show as they're messing with those people why he want that wall up. Because you keep messing with them, they coming straight across that border to defend their own.
Man, they got enough tunnels. You won't even see them when they coming. You can build that wall all you want. You can look around and they're going to pop up just like them Vietnamese did.
Guerrilla warfare, right?
You know what I'm saying? You looking over here and they pop up behind you. Underlay, pop, and go back in the hole. That wall ain't going to work. That wall is a waste of time. Go ahead, bro.
Which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar.
Shinar, which is Babel. Go ahead.
And from Hamath and from the islands of the sea.
Right. And we know they ain't letting no islanders in there. They ain't letting none of you Jamaican brothers in here. Right? They're like, nah, man, they gonna come in here with all this mango and coconut everywhere. We ain't know, man. We ain't letting them come up in here. Right. We gonna have to be there for that to happen. They not allowing anybody else to come in that don't look like them. Why? Because they're trying to maintain white supremacy. See, these are things you need to have in your arsenal so that you understand when people come at you with some mess. Go ahead.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcast of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth.
Right, right. But yet they say all of Judah came out of Germany. See, somebody got to be lying. Go ahead.
The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Yehudah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Yehudah, and Yehuda shall not vex Ephraim.
So he's going to put that broken stick back together so that Israel don't even fight one another. So then those separate fingers will get together and become a strong fist. Now you can fight. Go ahead.
But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. And Yahweh shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the 7 streams, and make men go over dry shod. And there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt.
So then Yahweh is describing the way in which the children of Israel will regain the land. Is that how the people got in the land in 1948? Okay, well, somebody lying then. And don't be bashful when you look in the eye of somebody and tell them they lying. Because my book says one thing. What you are saying is something else. My book says this is how this is going to happen. This is not what has happened. Let's go to chapter 35. Now you're starting to realize and you're starting to see why they have to present another book. Because if you keep reading in this one, you're going to notice that they are imposters. But you can't get that they are imposters if you read their book. If you read their halakha, which is supposed to be Jewish law, that they made up for themselves. See, if you're reading that, you're not going to find out, wait a minute, this stuff not matching. You got to stay in the stuff that Yahweh gave you. And when you do that, you're going to be able to point out some things. Isaiah chapter 35, and we're going to read verses 1 through 10.
Verse 1. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose.
Okay, so as Israel returns, we don't go directly into Israel. There is a wilderness experience, just like there was before. There is a part where Israel gets sanctified first. And then the desolate places blossom when you get there. How Israel look now, all sandy and everything. It ain't gonna look like that when you get there. Go ahead.
It shall blossom abundantly,
And
rejoice even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it, the excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of Yahweh and the excellency of our Elohim.
And you know, one of the things you have to think about, when you look at something like that, saying that something shall blossom, saying abundantly, when Israel get in there, you said, well, how is that possible? You have to think back and ask yourself, how was Egypt that great? And it just looked like a pyramid and a bunch of damn sand. That ain't what it looked like. That ain't what it looked like before. That's what it looked like after Yahweh's destruction. That ain't what it looked like. Because who gonna sit there and build a pyramid? Man, you ain't got no water to drink. I mean, you gonna die here in this sand. That's not what it looked like. And that land, people talk about, oh, how beautiful the land is. You think it's beautiful now. Wait till we get in it. Go ahead, bro.
Strengthen you the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your Elohim will come with vengeance, even Elohim with a recompense. He will come and save you. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing.
Right. This is restoration of Israel, where all our physical ailments get taken care of. The lame man leap as a hart. A deer can jump 10 feet flat-footed without even running. These are abilities. This is Yahweh fixing all of these things that are wrong with us. And some of us just act like, we don't know what's wrong with us. Like we don't know that left foot bigger than that right one. Like we don't know we got fast arms and slow legs, you know. Yahweh gonna take care of all that business. But how you gonna do that if you bypass that? I ain't gonna go in that wilderness. I'm just gonna go straight to Israel. No. I need to go in that place where they fix people. I got a few things need fixing. Go ahead.
For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. And the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. And the habitation of dragons, where each lay, shall be grass with reeds and rushes.
Mm-hmm.
And an highway shall be there, and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness.
Right.
The
Once again, same thing we read before. He's going to smite the river to knock it in the stream so men shall go over dry shod. So then you turn around and you read some of the same things again. Yahweh is verifying himself. Go ahead.
The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men. Though fools shall not err therein. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there. And the ransom of Yahweh shall return, and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away.
Right. So once again, we're getting this picture of what these things are supposed to be like. Let's go to our Ezekiel chapter 36. Remember, in the beginning, Yahweh gave man this garden. It was our paradise. Yet now we have learned the culture of other people, and they're telling us that we have to die to obtain the paradise of heaven. Wait a minute. He gave us a paradise here on the earth and we wasn't dead. Why we got to die to get another one? Ezekiel 36, and let's start that at verse 1.
Verse 1. Also, you son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, You mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh Elohim, because the enemy has said against you, Aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession.
Right. That's what the enemy's saying right now. Are you able to recognize the enemy? They say, the high places are ours. We got Jerusalem. It's ours. And we don't want to hear nothing y'all got to say. But y'all sure got something to say about it. Go ahead.
Therefore prophesy and say, Thus says the Adonai Yah, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. And you are taken up in the lips of talkers.
You are taken up in the lips of talkers. They put our dirty laundry is aired on the evening news. Every evening. That's all you see us. Do understand? There's all kind of other stuff going on in the city. You go to some of them trailer parks, you find out, man, them ghettos just like ours. But you don't see them on TV. And they shooting each other, stabbing each other, stealing stuff, jumping out of windows. They doing all the same stuff that you find in the project. But their stuff don't be on the news. So you start thinking, hey, maybe it's, maybe we are doing all the issues. No. Go over there and watch. And you say, wow, this is the same stuff. But because this is how we are made infamy and we are talked about, because they show everything we do. Why? To make people think a certain way about us. And it has worked, because even we think a certain way about us. We get some money, we're like, well, I got to hurry up and get out this hood. I don't want to be around these people. What people? My people. What? I don't want to be around my people. I don't want to be around nobody look like me. No. Because they be stealing. Now, what put that in your mind? Television. Because all they showed you was people who look like you. And come to figure out, all the people steal. They're just only showing us. Go to, and I don't know if y'all know this, but anybody can go into a courtroom. Just walk to the courthouse and just go sit in the courtroom. And you watch and you say, where all these white people come from? Where all these Mexicans? All y'all stealing? And you can listen to the charges. You can sit right there and just watch. And you, oh my God. If you got to go to court, it would behoove you to go to court before you got to go to court. Because you might want to learn how certain things go before you get there. That way, you could probably listen, because you might have an excuse in your head for like why you did what you did, and it might make sense to you until you get into the courtroom and you find out, oh man, that was real stupid what I said right there. Well, you should go and listen to other stupid people first. And that way, you might say, you know what, I ain't going to say that. That ain't going to work. So you sit right there. And when it's just you watching them, you be like, oh my God, that is stupid. He going to jail. He is going to jail. This is a very valuable thing. You can watch this go on from time. You can sit in that courtroom from sun up to sundown and just watch. Your education level is going to go up. Because if you watch that stuff that they show you on TV, that's just bits and snippets. That is not real stuff. Go to the courthouse and just sit there. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take my kids to the courthouse. It is going to be, I done decided now, it is a field trip. We're going to court. That is where we're going. We're going to court. It's going to be a field trip to go to court so we can watch gross stupidity. Because there are certain things that sound absolute, like it makes sense in the heat of the moment. It sounds incredibly stupid when you got to say it in court. And I always tell people, do understand that we all got a court date. We got a court date with Yahshua. It would behoove you to go to court every now and then and see what stupid sound like. So that you ain't there and be like, you know what, I'm the stupid one. I just figured it out. I'm the stupid one. No. You need to go ahead and see that first. So you don't be that person. Go ahead, brother.
And are an infamy of the people. Verse 4. Therefore, you mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh Elohim. Thus says Yahweh Elohim to the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, to the desolate waste, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus says the Adonai, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea.
Edom, you have Edom, Idumea, and Esau is all the same people. Go ahead.
Which have appointed my land into their possession.
Which have appointed my land into their possession. Go ahead.
With the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey.
With despiteful minds. This is Yahweh. This is not me and what I think and what I feel and what I believe. This is what the book says. Go ahead.
Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, thus says the Adonai, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because you have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore thus says the Adonai, I have lifted up mine hand. Surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. But you, O mountains of Israel, you shall shoot forth your branches, and yield your fruit to my people of Israel, for they are at hand to come.
They are at hand to come. Not yet, but they are at hand to come. Go ahead.
For behold, I am for you, and I'll turn unto you, and you shall be tilled and sown. And I'll multiply men upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it. And the cities shall be inhabited, and the waste shall be built. And I'll multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit. And I'll settle you after your old estates, and will do better unto you than at your beginnings. And you shall know that I am Yahweh.
I will settle you after your old estates. You already got a house. He made somebody else build it. They decorating your house right now. They think it's there. But they don't know Yahweh gonna snatch them right out of it and give it back to you. Because it's after your old estates. It already belongs to your family. Go ahead.
Yes, I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess you, and you shall be their inheritance, and you shall no more henceforth bereave them of men.
This is why nobody wants to hear who the true children of Israel are. This is why they want to tell you it doesn't matter and all these other things, because they don't want to have to go into judgment for the things that they have committed. Go ahead.
Thus said the Adonai Yah, because they say unto you, you land devoureth up men, and has bereaved your nations. Therefore you shall devour men no more, neither bereave you nations any more, says the Adonai Yah. Neither will I cause men to hear in you the shame of the heathen any more. Neither shall you bear the reproach of the people any more. Neither shall you cause your nations to fall any more, says the Adonai Yah. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their own doing. Their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman.
And if you don't understand biblical law, you don't even understand the things of a removed woman. You don't even understand that during a woman's cycle, she is not to deal with holy things. See, that don't even make sense to you in Christianity, because they don't even operate by that. You come to church in any kind of any kind of way. See, when you understand the things of righteousness, then you understand, oh, the way of a removed woman. So she's just set aside, during the time that she's going through her cleansing. If you don't understand that verse don't even make no sense. Go ahead.
Wherefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they would disperse through the countries.
Through countries, plural. Now you have people that want to say, well, the Jewish people are all over the earth. Man, it's a difference between going over the earth to try to conquer it and taking over people's economy and getting thrown out of the land because you have operated a coup within their country. That's something altogether different. Go ahead.
According to their way and according to their doings, I judged them. And when they entered onto the heathen, whither they went, they profaned my holy name. When they said to them, these are the people of Yah, and are gone forth out of his land. But I had pity for mine holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whither they went.
Right. So when we go somewhere and people see us out doing things, they say, oh, those Israelites, Yahweh has just got blasphemy to his holy name because of the things that we wanted to do while saying we was Israel. Go ahead.
Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus says the Adonai Yah, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which you have profaned among the heathen, whither you went. And I'll sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which you have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, says the Adonai Yah, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes.
When I am sanctified in you. So, when you try to talk about like a great, miracle, okay? If Yahweh was to show and do some power with these so-called people that are in the land, what kind of, power would it show that Yahweh has? Like, okay, they was already in power. They already have an army, navy. They have all of these things. How great of a work is that? Oh, but what if I take these people who everybody who has shown on television at 5 o'clock every evening and then showed them that they are these bad people? What if I take those people and break in pieces all of the major armies of the earth with them and set them in power? Now that gets Yahweh some glory. Yahweh loves being the underdog. He wants everybody to bet on the other person. And them the kind of people he picked. Why y'all think y'all here? You wasn't the smartest in your family. You ain't the nicest in your family. There people in your family nicer than you. He likes the underdog. So, oh, I'm going to do some great work with that one right there. No, I want that one. Lucifer said, no, I want the one with them, with all that power and strength. Yahweh said, give me the skin of him. Yeah, give me the skin of him. He can barely pick up that book. Give me that one. Watch what I do with him. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 24, for I'll take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land.
I will gather you out of all countries, and I will bring you into your own land. This is what our redemption looks like. Our redemption ain't never looked like heaven. That ain't never been our culture. That was never our God. We took somebody else's God. They forced it down our throat. Our redemption was always going to Israel. Go ahead.
Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I'll take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh.
The problem is most of us don't know we have a heart of stone. We think that's normal. See, the daughter of Babylon have caused us to learn some real stone-hearted ways. That stuff got to go. That stuff got to stay right here in Babylon. That's why Yahweh make you leave your stuff behind. Because some of your stone-heartedness is connected to some of your stuff. So he going to make you leave that stuff. No, I got a whole nother stuff for you. Leave that stuff. But Yahweh, I like this stuff. Yeah, I know, but your stone heart is connected to that stuff. Leave that stuff right there. I got some stuff for you. Go ahead.
And I'll put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them. And you shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I'll be your Elohim.
Right. You shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers. People said, well, this whole thing about lineage, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. My book don't say that. My book said, I'm going to give you the land that I gave to your fathers. That sounds like lineage matters. So then they try to confuse you. Well, people have been, cross mixing, and people have been dealing with this and that. The seed follows the male. Let's just go ahead and take care of this business right now. I don't care what he mixed with. I don't care who he lay with. Who did that? Well, there you go. That takes care of that business. Y'all ain't know what he doing. Go ahead, bro.
I will also save you from all your uncleanness, and I'll call for the corn, and will increase it, and lay no famine upon you. And I'll multiply the fruit of the tree, and the increase of the field, that you shall receive no more reproach of famine among the heathen. Then shall you remember your own evil ways and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for your lawlessness and your abominations.
Because when you get to that point, this is a point that brings about change in your life. That you loathe your own self because you see the things. This is why we can't change, because we can't see ourselves for who we are dealing with certain situations. There's certain situations you can't tell people they ain't right. And they just wrong. But in their eyes, they see that a certain way. So how they ever gonna change? When he gives us that vision to be able to say, oh, this is where I was right till I got to this point. And then I did this. This is what made it wrong. Now I'm upset with myself. Well, now you can change. You can't change as long as you are throwing a pep rally for yourself and how great you are. How you are more than conquerors. You ain't gonna change with that. Go ahead.
Not for your sakes do I this, says the Adonai Yah, be it known unto you. Be ashamed and confounded for your own ways, O house of Israel. Thus says the Adonai Yah, in the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your lawlessness, I will also cause you to dwell in the cities, and the ways shall be built. And the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that pass by.
Right. It lays desolate, and people don't even know it. They think that is the beauty of the land. They ain't even seen the beauty of the land yet. Go ahead.
And they shall say, this land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden.
The land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden, which is the first paradise that he gave to us. He said, when I give it back to you, it's going to look like the paradise that I gave you originally. You ain't got to die to get it. You got to let the old man that's in you die. Go ahead.
And the waste and desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, Yahweh, built the ruined places and plant that was desolate. I, Yahweh, have spoken it, and I will do it. Thus says the Adonai Yah. I will yet for this be inquired of by the house of Israel, to do it for them. I will increase them with men like a flock. As the holy flock, as the flock of Jerusalem in her solemn feasts, so shall the waste cities be filled with the flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yahweh.
And when you read this thing about increase them with men like a flock, you have to consider some other things. How he is going to first cut down the number of men. That's why it says 7 women are going to grab hold on the one man. He going to kill so many men, it ain't going to be that many left. Then he's going to, there are stages to this thing. See? And if you don't know that, you jumping from one stage to the wrong one. Let's go to chapter 39, Ezekiel chapter 39. And we're going to read verses 22 through 29. See, he got to make a man special first. See, I'm going to make him special when I kill off so many that it ain't that many left. See, that supply and demand thing kind of make the value go up. See, value ain't that good when there's a whole bunch of them. I ain't studying them, brother. I ain't studying them. They ain't nobody. When it ain't that many, they'll be like, look, when they come right here, grab hold of one of them. We're going to catch those brothers. Yeah, you grab a leg, I'm going to grab a leg. We're going to tackle that one. We're taking that one home right there. They're going to take care of that business right there. They say, what? Where in the Gamaliel? Man, he came out there 2 sisters talking to that brother, man. I ain't seen the brother since. Let's go to Ezekiel 39. Let's start at verse 22.
So the house of Israel shall know that I am Yahweh their Elohim from that day and forward. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their lawlessness, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword. So, if there's any question as to why we were made slaves because Yahweh took his hedge of protection away from us. Because of how we walked against the covenant and he walked against us. It wasn't that any nation ever had any power over us. He took away our power. And all the nations are going to know that when he give it back. Then they go, because you have to think about, we always wondered about these things when we was in school and they was telling us about slavery. That, 3 men went into a boat and got all these big burly brothers. I mean, these brothers got muscles. They got neck muscles. They got ear muscles. I mean, these brothers is big. And you like, how them little bitty men on that boat get all these brothers? That stuff was confusing in school. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the dude beside me, and I'm looking at one of these big brothers. No, this stuff here ain't adding up. Something about this don't sound right. I'm trying to figure out how is this even possible. Right. Yahweh said, oh, then they gonna know how it happened. It's because I removed the hedge away from you. I did this. And once he puts that hedge of protection back on, they gonna realize, oh yeah, we never had the ability to do that right there. Right. Go ahead. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore, thus says the Adonai Yah, now will I bring again the captivity of Yaakov.
That means cause the captivity to cease. Go ahead.
And have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they have borne their shame and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me.
After they have borne their shame. See, so you got to go through the shame first, because these are the things that push you to change. See, this is what pride and haughtiness fights against. Yahweh is trying to get to a certain level, but that means he's got to knock through the layer of pride, knock through the layer of haughtiness, and then get to that shame layer. But if you don't never let him get to that, you ain't never going to change. Go ahead.
When they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations.
You notice he keeps saying in the enemy's land. See, we have to first of all figure out what an enemy is. We think that everybody that frown at us is our enemy and everybody that smile at us is our friend. Some of your deepest enemies are the biggest smiling people you've ever seen in your life. If they are trying to get you to go against the culture of Yahweh, they are your enemy. I'm sorry, but some of you have deepest family members who live with you and you spend all your time with. They are your enemy. Because their entire purpose is to get you to go against Yahweh. Now, that don't mean that one day your enemy cannot turn into a true partner with you, but not if you go with them. See, even someone who's on your team can turn to your enemy at any given time. All they have to do is be thinking about themselves. The woman was made for the man, but at the point that the woman decided that she was going to go off and do something on her own, she became an enemy to her own husband. And then there was a division in the house. She wasn't originally his enemy. She was only his enemy when she sought for herself. If I eat from this thing, I'm going to be smart like a god. Enemy. That's all it takes. But if it can change that fast, it can also go back if we do what we're supposed to do. Go ahead.
Then shall they know that I am Yahweh their Elohim, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them onto their own land, and have left none of them any more there.
Okay, got to go ahead and make this point again. Now, Yahweh is returning Israel. Okay, he's returning Israel from captivity. Okay, so what slavery were the Jewish people in again? I missed that one. I don't remember us going past that. When he returns Israel, they are coming from captivity. I'm sorry, what captivity were they in? That's why you got to hear about the Holocaust over and over. Every year the number grows and how many people got hurt, how many people died, how many people did this. And nothing we have read has mentioned any Holocaust whatsoever. But what we constantly read is captivity, captivity, captivity. That is why you were slaves. Because you were created to be a servant to Yahweh. And if you will not serve Yahweh, then you're going to serve your enemy in your enemy's land. That is a part of what is in this book. This book don't verify nobody but you. That's why your enemy has to create another book and to try to talk to you out of his book. You go to a sword fight, you need to take your own sword. Don't let nobody hand you their sword. Fight with this. No, man, I ain't fighting with that. I got my own sword. I'm gonna fight with mine. Go ahead.
But even this last part when he says, when he's taking them out of captivity, he says, but I've gathered them onto their own land, and I have left none of them any more there. So that means they all should be in the land.
Exactly. They still talking about we gathering people. We gathering. Because they trying to gather the people who they want. While fighting against every last one of the Ethiopians who come, or any of those people, then they make them convert. How a real Jew gonna convert to Judaism? That's like me, saying, all right, kids, you want to come here, you have to convert to being black. How the hell I convert to being black? I'm already black. Go ahead, bro.
Neither will I hide my face anymore from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, says the Adonai Yah.
All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 49. And we're going to get a couple of verses out of here. Isaiah 49, and we're going to read verses 22 through 26.
Verse 22. Thus says the Adonai Yah, Behold, I will lift up mine hand to the Gentiles.
Now, and we read this in Bible study this week. I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles. When he lift up his hands, this is punishment time. And people keep trying to give you the nice version of this, not understanding that, hey, these are the very ones that have been in power all this time. So all of the situations that the earth is under has happened during their rule. So Yahweh's got to deal with that. If he has sustainable fuel that he can allow to run clean on the earth, but the Gentiles said, no, this is going to mess up our money. So he ain't going to allow no clean fuel. Yahweh going to have to raise his hand and take care of that business. Ain't no oil company going to stop making oil. I don't care what you find on the earth. There have been those people that created, there's some kind of carburetor that somebody made that run off of water. Them people disappeared. Disappeared. They little inventions disappeared. Hey, where this go? Where you guys? We buying this. No. Here it is. They still digging for fossil fuel, and you can put some stuff, have some corn fuel, and take off and go on about your business. They say, oh no, that stuff can't come in here. So we still using the old stuff that's tearing up the earth. Oh, yeah, sure, gonna take care of that business. So you gotta understand how big this fight is. This fight is much bigger than just righteous or unrighteous. Do you understand how they tearing up the earth with their fossil fuels? And y'all be like, you see that stuff right there? Put that in that car, man. Drive that thing, man. You drive that thing to China, boy. Get in the water and keep going. Go on in there, boy. And you ain't gotta tap the earth at all. All that's gotta be changed. Do you know how hard they're going to fight to keep that money? Now you understand why y'all sure got to come back and set some things right. Because ain't nobody trying to give up their money. But that stuff that they got going on is harming his creation. He got to take care of that. Go ahead, bro.
They just had something on Yahoo News saying what you're talking about now as far as the earth being so depleted. That it's so hard to grow food and stuff like that. So yeah,
and all of this is happening under the rule of the Gentiles because it's about money. So the real things that will not harm the earth have not gotten this opportunity. Yahweh got their rule has to come to an end because if it doesn't, the whole planet's gonna die. Go ahead, bro.
I mean, you got to think about the simple fact of how big a locomotive is. And it used to run off of steam. Steam engines.
Right.
So why was that never transferred over to cars?
Brother, it is so many things that have been developed. But if you get in the way of people's money, I'm telling you, they're going to find you on a milk carton. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 22. Thus says the Adonai Yah, behold, I will lift up mine hand to the Gentiles and set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring your sons in their arms, and your daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders.
And why? Because hell, you the one sent for them to get spread all over the place. You the one going to make sure they go back. So when people say, well, the Jews are coming from all over the world, who bringing them? Well, they're bringing themselves. Problem. Wrong answer. Don't fit the book. La. So Yahweh said, you brought them, you gonna take them back. Just like, it ain't my responsibility to get back to the land. I didn't ask to come over here. Ain't nobody asked me how I felt about it. So I ain't paying for my ticket to go back. All right, Sock, you need to go. All right, well, give me my ticket. No, Sock, you need to pay. No, hell, I don't. I didn't pay to get here. I ain't paying to leave. Go ahead, bro.
And kings shall be your nursing fathers, and their queens your nursing mothers. They shall bow down to you with their face toward the earth. and lick up the dust of your feet.
Oh, and this is what people hate that. They don't want to have to acknowledge what they've done to the children of Israel. And they're going to fight to the death to protect their pride. Because they don't want to have to answer for that. But Yahshua is going to take care of that business. They're going to have to answer for that. And all these nations have played their part in this slavery game. Either by financing it or something, lending ships to go get it, or taking the money and investing it in their stock markets. Yahweh know where every slave penny has gone. And He's going to make sure that the children of Israel get everything that we are owed. I don't want no reparations here. And you going to give me this money? I don't want this monopoly money. Pay me in gold. That way we leave here, that gold's still good. You give me some of them dead slave master pictures, them dead slave master portraits that they call dollars. You give me those, they only work here. And they might stop working here. Go ahead, bro.
And you shall know that I am Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
Mm-hmm.
Shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered?
Uh-huh.
But thus says Yahweh, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away.
Even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away. Go ahead.
And the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contendeth with you, and I will save your children.
Right. So this is all about rescuing the children of Israel from all the places that they have been made captive. Nobody's rescuing these so-called Jewish people. They're not captive. They have not been made captive. Go ahead.
And I will feed them that oppress you with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine. And all flesh shall know that I, Yahweh, am your Savior and your Redeemer, the mighty one of Yaakov.
All right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 2. We're going to read just 2 verses out of there. We might read a couple more, because I want to get probably down to 5. Starting at verse 1. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 1. I want to get a couple of things out of here.
Verse 1. The word that Esaias, the son of Amos, saw concerning Yehuda and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come you, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the Elohim of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and he will walk in his paths, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem.
Right, but nations are not attempting to do that at this point, because they see Israel as a hypocritical nation. The Jewish that are there, they're not, first of all, not letting anybody in that doesn't completely agree with whatever they're doing. And the stuff that they're doing is absolutely evil. The stuff that they're doing to those Palestinian people is absolutely wicked. And whoever acts as if they want to disagree with it, they'll boycott you and won't let you in. Will tell you that you have gone against Israel, have passed laws. Check this out. They have passed laws that you can't speak against Israel. How is it that we live in America, but there are laws on the books to say that you can't speak against Israel? But as an American, you can still speak against America. Now that is a strange place. You want to know how this place is going to get destroyed? That right there should answer your question. Whenever you let somebody pass laws that you can't talk about a foreign country, but you can talk about your own, oh, ain't no doubt this place about to be destroyed. Because what stupid leader allowed that to go into law? That makes no sense whatsoever. But it's law. Go ahead.
You know, even when the kingdom was set up, what Yahweh says, those nations who don't want to come up, they will have no rain. He ain't stopping them from doing what they want to do.
Yeah, you want to serve the adversary of the devil, go ahead. But you're going to serve him without that rain, though. And sooner or later, you're going to get hungry. Because without that rain, you're not going to be able to grow. So sooner or later, you're going to show up and you're going to bow down to my people. Because, there's still going to be some people. I ain't going to go down and show no respect to none of them black people. I remember seeing them on the news. All right. When they don't get no rain in a year, okay, maybe we should go down there and bow down to them because we hungry. Go ahead, bro.
And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
Right. So when the true children of Israel get set up, it is going to be a system of peace. Gentiles want peace. Our people want peace. This is what the earth is waiting for to be established in the earth. Peace. Go ahead.
O house of Jacob, come you, and let us walk in the light of Yahweh. Therefore you have forsaken your people, the house of Jacob, because they be replenished from the east, and are soothsayers like the Philistines, and they please themselves in the children of strangers. Their land also is full of silver and gold, neither is there any end of their treasures. Their land is also full of horses, neither is there any end of their chariots. Their land also is full of idols. They worship the work of their own hands, that which their own fingers have made. And the mean man boweth down, and the great man humbles himself, therefore forgive them not. Enter into the rock, and hide you in the dust, for the fear of Yahweh and for the glory of his majesty. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and Yahweh alone shall be exalted in that day. For the day of Yahweh of hosts shall be upon every one that is proud and lofty, and upon every one that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. And upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, and upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills that are lifted up, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall, and upon all the ships of Tarshish,
Spain.
and upon all the pleasant pictures.
Right. It was those Spanish ships that spread us all across the four corners of the globe. See, our people had went in and taken over Spain for a couple hundred years. We took over Spain. So they commemorate running us out of there with a little thing that they call running with the bulls. And we don't even know. We think it's just a game. And sometimes these people run with the bulls. It is a game that they set up, and it is about commemorating running the black people out of Spain. Sometimes they get gored with the horns, and sometimes, no matter how many people get hurt, they still celebrate this running with the bulls. This was about running us out of town. And once they did, all of a sudden slavery started. And they went all the way across the globe to get one particular group of people. That's why you were called Negro, which is a Spanish word for black. So Yahweh say, yeah, them same ships. You know the ones that brought you? They're going to take you back. Go ahead.
And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and Yahweh alone shall be exalted in that day. And the idols he shall utterly abolish, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth, for fear of Yahweh and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats, to go into the clefts of the rocks and into the tops of the ragged rocks, for fear of Yahweh and for the glory of his majesty, when he arise to shake terribly the earth.
Right. When that earth starts shaking, folk gonna start throwing them gold idols. They ain't gonna even want to go. That's how Yahweh gets your attention. See, everybody is big and bold and they talk tough until stuff start happening. Then all that toughness go out the window when that earth starts shaking. So you realize you got zero control. Ain't no need of trying to be tough now. Go ahead, brother. Finish that up.
Cease you from man, whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accounted of?
All right. Now, when the Israelites ruled the world, it shall be a kingdom of peace. And the world under the current system of rulership is in desperate need of peace. Today's ruling power has become drunk with blood. Wars and rumors of wars are the norm in this day and age. Let's go to Revelation chapter 20. Revelation chapter 20, and we're going to read verses 1 through 6. See, you need all of this information, not just when you run into the adversaries. You need this when you run into your own people, because they have trained your own people to question you.
What makes you think the true Jews are black?
It'll be a black person asking you that.
What makes you think that? Where you get that from?
You need to have all of the things ready to prove yourself. This is why you need to have your notebook with your notes in it. You don't need to be running around trying to find a class. I know it was in some class. It was you're supposed to have your notebook. It should have some things in it, so that when a question come up, hold on. Right here, let's go to this right here. Let's go to this right here. But this gonna take care of this business. That way you ain't running around like a chicken with a head cut off, trying to talk to everybody and asking everybody, where your notebook at? You know how many notebooks I filled up learning from my elder? I got stacks of notebooks. Because the thing about scripture is different things stand out at different times. I can read the same thing, and depending on what I'm going through, a different part stands out in that scripture. And if you had your notes, when situations come up, now you got something to go right through it. Because trying to remember everything that's in Revelation 20, that might be extremely difficult. But if something grab you and you're like, that's interesting, let me highlight verse 4. Then all of a sudden you find that you in a conversation, and now you understand why Yahweh made that one verse stick out to you. You were supposed to go back to your note, pull out.
That's where that sound familiar at. Come here, my little Luciferian worshiping friend. Let me read something to you.
I got just the thing for you. Revelation chapter 20, and let's read verse 1 through 6.
And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years.
Right, and this is not one of the things that we ever hear about on Sunday morning. All right, that there's 2 resurrections, and this first resurrection is 1,000 years of peace. You don't have to talk about a resurrection when everybody going to heaven. You don't have to talk about 1,000 years of peace when everybody going to heaven and everybody going at the same time. This goes completely against what's written in the book. Yet, it's at every funeral, and it's at every Sunday, everybody going to heaven. Yet, he's broken this thing down into 2 resurrections. The first one is this sabbatical kingdom, where there is all this peace. Where? On earth, not in heaven. But people will tell you I'm the strange one.
Y'all must be in some kind of cult. What's that cult teaching? Inherit the earth. Where do you even get this mess from? You done lost your spirit listening to those people.
Whole time they worship the devil and they telling you done lost your spirit. Check that out. Go ahead.
And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season.
Right. So this 1,000 years is the sabbatical kingdom. This is a kingdom of peace. Why? Because the adversary, the devil, gonna be in chains. He can't fool nobody. He can't coerce nobody to do no sin. He can't do nothing. So if anybody sin, you did it on your own. You ain't gonna have nobody to blame it on.
Ain't gonna be no. Well, Yahweh, it was a woman you gave me. That's why I did. Look at her. Look at her. Won't you do what she said? Look at all that.
You won't be able to blame nobody. Go ahead, bro.
And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahshua and for the word of Elohim, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with the Mashiach 1,000 years.
Right. Everybody talking about being with Christ. Everybody talking about, you want to be with Christ, then you're going to have to be a part of that first resurrection. And if you're not part of that, you're going to miss the 1,000-year reign on earth. And people tell you, we all going to be kings and we all going to be priests. No, we ain't. What's this we stuff? No. All of a sudden now we know French. We. No. Us. See, people who have not encountered anything and haven't gone through anything, but they ready to stand in the gift line. When it talks about all this captivity and all of these things, Yahweh got to make that right. Go ahead, brother. Did you finish that?
But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection.
Right. So then those people are going to wake up in the second resurrection. So if you wake up and you missed the 1,000 years with Christ, just ask them what a lake is and just go ahead and jump in it. Because there's something seriously wrong. You just missed 1,000 years. He was on this earth for 1,000 years and you slept through the whole thing. That's a problem. Go ahead.
Blessed and holy is he that has part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power.
On such the second death have no power. So whatever happened there, it ain't going to affect you. So no, I done been through 1,000 years with Christ. I ain't studying whatever death they talking about there. I'm straight. Go ahead.
But they shall be priests of Elohim and of the Mashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
Yeah, everybody want to put themselves in this. They say, we all going to be priests. Nah, I think you're reading that wrong. No. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 66. I know y'all like, God, thank God, this is the last one. See, y'all spoiled. That's what that is. Y'all spoiled. People on the internet like, yes, keep going. See, y'all, see,
Y'all like, man, I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm sleepy.
Some of y'all need to go to bed at night. Look, I be up all night. I'm working. I don't know what y'all be up all night doing.
Thank God, this is the last scripture. Oh my God. He put like 3 Sabbaths in one.
Isaiah 66, and we're going to read verses 15 through 24.
For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
Right. This is righteous judgment. While everybody is sitting there talking about all of these things, they are not preparing people for righteous judgment. They keep telling you, God is love. So when they see these angels, these chariots of fire, some of them going to have a heart attack and die right there. What is that? Oh, he came for war, boo-boo. Oh, you thought he was finna come down here and hug and kiss you and tell everybody how much he loved them? Oh, no. He coming back for war. Now, if somebody done fooled you with all this love talk, they gonna show up with weapons, and here you go with some flowers and wine. You ready for love. You got the wrong things in your hand. It's time to fight. What you gonna do with those flowers? Go ahead.
For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh. And the slain of Yahweh shall be many.
The slain of Yahweh shall be many. So they got to tell the story of Ziptang going into heaven and then going in the air so that they can miss this judgment. Because the whole time they have preached completely against the law. So you are not going to fare well in judgment not dealing with any law. So you got to float off to Never Never Land. It's going to hurt some people that they are actually. That's what's going to give some people the biggest heart attack. When they realize, why am I still here? This looks like tribulation. They told us we was going to be gone. That's what I paid all that money for. Oh, there's going to be some people hurt. They gave all this money. And they thought they were buying a ticket away from tribulation. Right. Go ahead, bro.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh.
Right. See, God has cleansed everything. So, see, he cleansed the food. So this is holy pork. See, this pork chop has been smothered and covered with his grace.
You gonna die. Stick that pork chop in your mouth if you want, you're gonna die. That's how you're gonna take care of that business. See, now people eat the pork, they get a little sick. He take care of that, you stick it in your mouth, boom, that's gonna take care of the business. People are like, ain't gonna no more pork chops here. You see that dude that just died over there on 21st Street? He ate that pork chop and he died? That's gonna take care of the business. Eat the pork, you die right there. Want a little abominable broth, throw a little shrimp in there, boom, die automatically. Want a little crawfish, boom, die automatically. They're gonna take care of that business. We ain't gonna have to worry about it. Everybody else gonna learn righteousness after that. See? Somebody do something and die right there. That's gonna be the lesson for all the rest of us. That's how we gonna know what not to do.
Note to self, don't do that. Got it. I don't know how I'm gonna die, but I know I won't die that way. Go ahead, bro.
And the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together.
Who eating a mouse? Who eat mouse? Which one of y'all are ex-mouse eaters? Ah! What in the world is that? You looking like you done ate a mouse. You better not be done ate no mouse. Oh my God. Somewhere I bet you it's a delicacy. And you know they probably didn't call it no mouse. They done gave it some fancy name, you know. That's how they get us.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, I want to eat. What is that? Oh, that just sounds exotic.
Oh yeah, we love that. They give it some exotic name, and we had it. And it be the nastiest thing ever. You eating what?
Yeah, let's get it. Oh, I like calamari. Oh my God, that just sounds sexy. Oh, I like that. Oh my goodness.
Right. Die. They're gonna take care of that business. Go ahead, bro.
I mean, you can go online and look and see where the Asians package it up like chicken. So we don't know what we've eaten when we've gone into them restaurants.
See, that's why I'm very, very, I'm not a big restaurant kind of guy in a lot of places. You know, I don't want nothing when they tell me it tasted like a chicken. Now, that's not what I asked you. I said, what is it? Because I got sense enough to know. And I look, I said, man, I ain't never seen no chicken look like that right there. See, I like my stuff with the bone. I can tell things with the bone. Because, see, I know how the leg shape. And when I see something, I'm like, I ain't seen no chicken with no bone that look like that right there. What part of the chicken is that? Nah, brother, I'm out. Never mind. Never mind. I don't want none of that. Go ahead, bro.
For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory.
All nations and all tongues. Those are languages. And then you got these Hebrews out here teaching. Everybody got to learn Hebrew. And they're not alone. Because the fake Jew is out telling you that too. That you are, separated from righteousness because you don't know Hebrew. So that is to give you some kind of low self-esteem. The whole part about spreading Israel all across the globe was to spread the gospel all across the globe. He said, I'm going to bring every nation and every tongue. Tongue is a language. And every time you read that to one of them so-called Hebrews who teach only Hebrew, They want to try to dismiss it. But it's too many things in this book to say the same thing. That's what the whole gift of speaking in tongues was about. They were able to communicate, and these were all Israel who were able to communicate with other people of Israel, but they had been spread out to different areas. So they spoke different languages. It was just not about being able to understand Hebrew. They was able to understand every language. Now that's a gift. So you can spend your time studying root words if you want. I ain't gonna stop you. But that's still just one language. The gift I'm trying to get, I can speak all of them. Spanish, French. We got more people in Spain than what's in North America. How's your Hebrew gonna help them? No, I want that gift. That one to let us speak to everybody. Go ahead, bro.
And I'll set a sign among them, and I'll send those that escape of them unto the nations, to Tarshish, Pul, and Lud, that draw the bow, to Tubal and Yavan, to the isles afar off.
Right. And when you look at Spain and you wonder, you know, the Spanish people look different than regular Gentiles. When you add in a couple 100 years of mixing with black people, it has a tendency to do that. Go ahead.
That have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory, and they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles. And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto Yahweh out of all nations upon horses, and in chariots, and in leaders, and upon mules, and upon swift beasts, to my holy mountain Jerusalem.
So who's bringing the children of Israel? The Gentiles will bring the children of Israel, not Gentiles bringing other Gentiles. Go ahead, bro.
Says Yahweh, as the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of Yah.
Right. So that means Yahweh is going to bring so much uneasiness in their land that they're going to say, hey, man, this Yahweh people, man, we need to return these people. And if you go back to some of those statements of those early presidents, who was that, George Washington, ended up saying, hey, sooner or later, judgment has got to come to us from God for what we've done to these people. One of them crazy presidents, because they all knew, you know, hey, this is the worst kept secret ever. Like, we think that we learned something when we was like, oh my God, we Israel? Everybody know you was Israel. You just now found out. You're the last one to know. All over the earth, they have known. Look, they know who they went and got. Everybody knew except you. And they knew sooner or later judgment has to come to us for what we have done to his people. But the greed of money will not allow them to stop. Go ahead.
And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites, says Yahweh.
Now, folks said, well, we all going to be a priest and king. No, I don't think you're reading that right. That's the children of Israel. See, those are the ones that have suffered the captivities all over the earth. That ain't everybody. The nations have had their chance to rule. Imagine us having a righteous kingdom and letting one of them Catholics be priests. We have to watch our kids all day. I'm going to go over here with Father Joseph. No, hell you ain't. No, hell you ain't. That's not going to happen. Come back and my kid can hit that high note. Oh, no, You couldn't hit that high note when you left. You ain't going over there. Go ahead, bro.
For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, says Yahweh, so shall your seed and your name remain. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another.
Right, from one new moon to another, half the people don't know what a new moon is. You ask the Jewish people, half of them don't know what a new moon is. Most of our people, you start talking about the Sabbath, they say what T.D. Jakes said. Every day is holy. No, man. This is righteousness being set on the earth, and they keeping new moons and Sabbath. The same things we keep right now. Go ahead.
Shall all flesh come to worship before me, says Yahweh.
All flesh shall come. See, people tell you, well, that law was only for Israel. Well, here go a righteous kingdom, and it says all flesh. So that lie about just Israel, that don't hold water. Go ahead.
And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched, and they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh.
Right. Yahweh gonna let them live, even though they gonna have all these issues. He gonna let them live as a sign of what disobedience look like. But hey, ain't this what happened to us? They hung us on the tree and left the dead body there. Yeah, but you got to listen to the poetry of Yahweh's punishment. As they hung us and left us there, it was a symbol to anybody else who would be disobedient and let the birds come and pick at their flesh, and they was an abhorring to flesh, because you're seeing these body parts just picked apart by these fowl. The birds just fly and just eat on them as they decay hanging from a tree. So then Yahweh leaves these half-dead people and won't let them die. He's poetic. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.